track before we kind of see this thing slip away. We're not that far away from tournament time.
For sure. I think for both of these teams, just coming out with a hot start, you've come off of a loss, so these teams are going to be hungry for a win. And I think it's going to be a good match. We're going to have a lot of back and forth. I think they're going to both be very, very eager to get out, get a hot start, and just get going.
We have a lot to talk about tonight. Let's talk about this Monrovia team. I know they're off to a slow start. We don't have a ton of information on them tonight, which generally means one of two things. I know that they're off to a slow start, and a lot of times when you're trying to maybe mix and match your lineups and get something corrected, that can happen. But they're coming off an 11-14 season last year. One of those wins was against Covenant Christian, a 3-0 sweep in that one. But what do you know about this Bulldog team, and what are they going to have to do tonight to come on the road and get a big win?
For sure. I think one thing to note about this team is they are young. They only have 2 seniors on their roster in Sydney Clemens and Lila Martin. So those two are going to be huge key factors for them, and I think that's probably another reason they're kind of working those kinks out.
Yeah.
You have a very young team. You have people that haven't played with each other before. You're going to have those working errors where you just kind of have to work through the kinks, work through the connections and the misconnections and figure out what you need to work on, what you don't need to work on. So I think to note for Monrovia, I think their seniors are going to be their go-tos. Sydney Clemens leads the team right now with kills. Last year she had 188 on the year, 2.4 kills per set. She's going to definitely be their go-to tonight. So I think watching her and also just realizing that it is a very young group.
Yeah.
And seeing how they're going to work together, and I'll be very interested to see the chemistry they have, being that they are such a young team.
Hannah, from experience, knowing coaching, and I had a team that had one senior 1 year, and it is tough because you have so many other kids around her that have not been under the lights very often. And we're only talking about 5 matches so far here for Monrovia, and to have them step up like that is awful tough on those seniors too.
Oh, for sure. You have those seniors who are setting the expectation, who are teaching these younger players the expectation, the roles, the chemistry of the team, and just kind of how the team dynamic works. And it's a lot to put on somebody who's 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask of them, but I think they are going to, if Monrovia wants to win tonight, they're going to have to rely on those seniors and rely on their experience and rely on them in those tough moments where they might be down, and those younger players are going to look to those girls for, hey, what do we do? How do we respond? How are we going to turn this match around if we're down, if we're up?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Covenant Christian, again, they're still trying to find their way, and I know we're going to talk a lot about them throughout the night tonight, but again, 3-7 coming into this one here this evening, but they've got some pieces to work with coming into this one.
They do. They have a lot of really good key pieces. Another thing to note for them, they are also a very young team. They only have 1 senior in Shelby Olmstead, but I think a thing to note for them is how are they going to respond to errors? What are they going to do when they're down, when they're up? How are they going to respond? But some key players to watch for them. Kenzie Mann is their go-to. According to her coach, if she is on, look out, unstoppable.
Okay.
So be on a lookout for her. She's number 12. Last year she's coming into this match 57 kills, 3.2 kills per set, and 26 digs already on the season. So she'll be a player for them to watch. I think another good player that we're going to have to keep our eyes on is Chloe Lays. She's a right side. She'll be a good key player for them. 23 kills on the season so far, also 28 digs. And their setter, she distributes the ball very well, according to her coach. So I think that's going to be something for them. That's going to give them an edge when you do have a setter who is able to mix up their offense and give a good settable ball to a hitter, even when it's not on a good pass. It creates a whole nother dynamic for a team. So I think she is going to be a really key piece for their offense if they want to get up to a good start.
The one thing that I know you're a stat person,
yes,
but I always talk about the serve percentage with you, and they're well below 90%. They're at 87.6. Speaking of Covenants, that could be a big key tonight.
It could be. And another big thing that Covenant wants to focus on tonight is their service pressure in their service location. I think a big part of their game plan that their coach talked to me about is making sure their serves are on, they're getting to those locations. So it'll be interesting to see how that game plan the coach wants to have is implemented tonight. So.
Neither team has a whole lot of size. We'll talk about that as well. You can see Monrovia right there. We'll talk about the Bulldogs and the Warriors of Covenant Christian. More coming up in a few moments. We're just moments away from getting this one started here tonight, right here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Back once again here at Covenant Christian High School. Tonight's volleyball match brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is the leading equipment dealer and has been since 1955. Passion to Care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. Boilermaker Local 374. They represent highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. Wheeler Mission. For over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Bertner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. The Morales Group, we're in business to create a better future for you and your family. Northwestern Mutual, inspiring people to repeatedly take action on their financial goals. Indiana Labor's District Council, the 12,000 Hoosier men and women with Labor's District Council and affiliated local unions that build Indiana. We are LIUNA. And the IndianaSRN sports page. Follow the daily sports page with updated sports news coast to coast. Go to IndianaSRN.org and click on the sports page tab. We'll be back. Things getting underway in just moments right here on IndianaSRN.
To you. Standing with us. You are truly making a difference in the lives of our neighbors in
need. We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
Is very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Piece of equipment you can trust, one that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements and top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com. Get a gator that will get you where you need to go. Something you can get in and go with plenty of space. Be ready to tackle any terrain, large or small. When you choose Reynolds, you choose reliability. The guaranteed great customer experience and relationship from the moment you walk in. Come in and see for yourself or visit reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Welcome back again to Covenant Christian. We will have the both and rosters announced here in a couple of moments. Let's talk about keys to this one here tonight. Let's start with Monrovia. You're on the road. You have a young team. Of course, now we find out really Covenant's younger than your team, 2 seniors to 1 senior. And you got to find a way to get a win here tonight. You've lost your last couple, but you've also won a game in the conference. What do they have to do to offset some of the things they're going to face here tonight?
I think one thing they are going to have to do is shut down Covenant's outsides. Covenant has a great outside in Kenzie Mann, so I think limiting her and making sure she's not getting on a lot of runs. She's not getting hot. And I think if they can do that, they will be able to start running their offense and start dictating the pace that they want to play. I think also, relying on the 2 seniors that you do have, looking to them in those moments where, you're down and you're not sure how to get a point, looking to them to see how they're going to influence the rest of the team and how they should respond.
On the other side, Covenant Christian, the Warriors, as you mentioned a little bit ago, with just the 1 senior they have, but they got some talented players, and it's hard to tell, but it looks like they have a little more size than maybe Monrovia has. Will they really count a lot in playing really good at the net?
Yeah, I think one thing we can really expect is number 25, Raven Russell. She is 6'2" up at the net, and she's a middle. So I think that is going to be a mismatch that will fall in Covenant's favor. When they're up playing on the net, I think she's going to have the upper hand when jousting and when going up for those big swings. I think she's going to be a big part of the match and a big part of Covenant's win if they want to come away with a win. I think also Kenzie Mann, you just heard her announce there, she is going to have to get hot for them. I think if she gets hot, Covenant will do well. And then also just making sure that you are relying on that 1 senior in Shelby Olmstead, making sure she's your leader. I think her along with Kenzie Mann are going to be the leaders for this team. So again, looking to them when the moment's tough and seeing how they respond.
By the way, the latest Z ratings came out. If you don't know what those are really the official computer rankings we have now in high school volleyball. They come out, I think, even like every 4 days, 3 days. It isn't like it's a once-a-week thing. In 4A, Hamilton Southeastern is your top team, then Yorktown, Brownsburg, Castle, and Floyd Central, with Westfield, Center Grove, 2 teams out of the Indianapolis area in the top 10 in 4A. In 3A, Tri-West, then Roncalli, Northview, Silver Creek, and New Pal, with Brebeuf coming in at number 7, Cathedral at number 9. In 2A, Brownstown Central number 1, then it's Southwood, Wapahani, Bar Reeve, and Benton Central. Cecina, by the way, this week ranked number 9. And in Single A, Trinity Lutheran, followed by Lagodi, Daleville, Covington, and Tri-County. Those are your top 5 teams in each of those respective classes. Keith Myers is watching tonight. We wanted to say hi to him. You knew he got hurt in a football injury, so that's why he's not playing, or he's not broadcasting with us right at the moment. So I say playing, but he's still trying to play football. So I already told Ben how he got hurt. You heard that story, didn't you?
I did not.
He has a certain diet he has to keep. And when he gets too close to the bad stuff in his refrigerator, his wife tackles him. And so it keeps him from doing something really stupid.
I see. I have a feeling you might be getting a call or a text message from him
Probably.
later.
Yeah, but that's okay. But at least he's healthy and feeling much better.
Good. Glad to hear
Monrovia
it.
on the left and Covenant is on the right. We're ready to get this one underway. We've seen time and time again, Hannah, where teams get off to a run and they'll go 5, 6, 7 points and get yourself in a hole. The one thing you don't want to do if you're Monrovia is do that on the road.
Oh, absolutely. I think dictating the match here, you got first serve, making sure you're creating a lot of pressure with this serve to get you off to a good start.
Harper Ron, the first serve, and we are underway. The attack in the middle. We already have a whistle and the violation against Monrovia. And I believe they got Josie Kinsey at the net.
Mm-hmm.
So good start now already. And those are mistakes you can't make when you're struggling either.
I agree. I definitely agree there.
Side out for Covenant. To the outside left and already a whistle, and looks like we may have a violation on the other side, a net violation called against Covenant.
Yes. Right back for it. I mean, these are mistakes you definitely don't want to be making this early. I mean, I think nerves are going to be playing a part here. So I think give it a few points, and I think these teams will definitely settle in the match.
So side out once again, Monrovia. The back set just inside the attack line, and the point there for the Warriors.
I think that was Kenzie Mann there. Good swing there by her.
Well, you mentioned Kenzie earlier. Excellent serve percentage, great hitting percentage, and if I'm their head coach, I go to her a lot.
Oh, absolutely. She is going to be their go-to. When Covenant needs a point, look for her. They are going to be going to her.
The overpass, and it ends up costing the Bulldogs, and now they're down 3-1. It isn't, again, when we talk about the game of volleyball, if you can execute, but you can't shoot yourself in the foot either, and that's what we're seeing Monrovia already.
Yes, I think, Monrovia, I think nerves are high right now, and the 2 points that they do have so far are from Covenant's errors. So I think getting going, getting your offense going, making sure you're not giving Covenant those easy points are going to be a huge factor for them.
3-2 your score. Let's see what the Warriors can do here. Back set, left-hand swing.
Good dig there.
Back the Warriors on the left side, and that's going to be wide, and the point will go to the Bulldogs. So we're tied at 3. Josie Kinsey once again on the serve. I'll tell you what, it looked like she might have stepped on the line on the serve. At least that's what it looked like from our vantage point.
Yeah, it looks like that was the call there.
All right, so now we're talking about literally 3 of the 4 points on mistakes made by your own team.
Exactly, and that's definitely something you don't want to have happen this early in the match. So I think, it's going to be something that Monrovia is going to have to look out for.
When it is a head coach, when you're in that position, and there's another mistake there by Monrovia, it's frustrating because if you've gone through practice and you've done this over and the repetitive nature of trying to make sure you cut back on the mistakes and then you get into a match and do it, it'll drive you nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
5-3 Warriors. Bulldogs went middle. Back to the outside, and we have a point for Monrovia. No, it's going to be Covenant on the point. It was touched by the Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
There is some question here, though, with...
Yeah, it looks like Monrovia thought they got that point.
Well, and I saw the
sub come in.
I saw the sub come in, but the official on top, you could see she was making the signal that it was touched.
Yes, so it looks like it will stay with Covenant there.
Raven Russell, as you mentioned earlier, at 6'2" in the lineup now for the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So they have gotten bigger in a 3-point lead. We volley back and forth to the outside left and unable to handle that one on the back row, and the point will go again to the Warriors.
Yeah, that was Shelby Olmstead there. She normally, I believe, plays as a DS for them. And so she's on the outside right now, so way to get up there and swing for her. You know, that's definitely not a position she's comfortable with, but kudos to her for getting up there and swinging at that ball.
Now, one thing we should mention that you were informed about in your research, as that'll be long, is that Anna Cope for Covenant is a freshman who generally plays on the JV, is getting a chance to play some varsity minutes.
She is, yes. According to her coach, she has earned it, and she's in the libero jersey right now. I think she's on the bench right now. It looks like a middle is serving.
Point on the other side by Olmstead.
Great swing.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, your leading equipment dealer, serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors in Indiana. Nothing runs like a deer. Call them at 317-849-0810. Not a whole lot of lift that time for Sydney Clements, and now you find yourself down by your biggest margin here in the first set.
Yeah. Covenant is doing a great job of giving that service pressure, which is exactly what Coach wanted tonight. Good cover there.
Boy, nice way to keep it in play. Bulldogs outside left. Great block up front. Did it stay in or no, it did not?
Oh, I thought that landed in from my angle.
Yeah, watching the line judge down there on the floor holding the flag up, and it looked like Raven Russell was going to get a nice point right there.
Yeah. Not a bad touch by her, though.
Boy, no kidding. So now a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs from the attack line.
Great swing.
Another attack line from the left side, and the point looked like that might be Olmstead again.
It was, but credit to Cassidy Oopie. She was all the way in the middle back, and she bumps at that perfectly to her outside. Great job by her.
Lead back at 6. As a coach, and you've done this enough to know that when do you want to call a timeout if things aren't going right?
Most likely soon. I would assume if Monrovia doesn't get this point here within the next 2 points, I would most likely assume Coach is calling a timeout.
Kenzie Mann, who you'd mentioned earlier in the pregame, and you were exactly right. You get a point for that one. Covenant on top of this one, 12-5.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there, it's just an incredible team. Everything that they do, they take so much pride in. They put a little bit of themselves into everything that they do over here, especially since it is a made from scratch concept. We want everybody to come, visit us, enjoy some great food with some great service. Bring your friends, bring your family, come have some great food, have a great time with us with some of the best comfort scratch food.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group. They're in business to create a better future for you, your family, and for the community we share. They can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate. For more information, give them a call, 317-472-7600. 7-point lead now for Covenant Christian here in the opening set. To the outside, and it's going to be long. So the point goes to the Bulldogs.
Not a bad swing by her, though.
Josie Kinsey back hands. In. Yeah. So side out for the Bulldogs.
Oh, what a pass.
Boy, how about the soft touch there? Did it stay in? It did, and the point, kind of a little confusion. You have the two officials kind of looking around, and now they're going to talk with one another. But it looked like Raven Russell was the one who was able to tap that one in.
Yeah, my assumption is maybe the down ref saw a net touch. of some sort, maybe that the upper ref didn't see. Oh, out.
Wow. So they will say it was out, so the Bulldogs will get the point, and they will serve. You don't see that very often. Not that it was out, other than you generally see the floor official come over and make that discussion very often. And coming back and getting the point, Covenant.
Great swing.
Guess who again? Kenzie Mann.
Yeah, she will be a go-to for them tonight, no doubt.
Well, and it appears, at least from what we can see, Bulldogs don't have an answer for her.
No, and I think one thing that if you're Monrovia, finding that answer,
Yeah. Great serve by Russell. And then pushing it deep in the corner, the point. This time it was Megan Gudaitis who ends up getting the point. She'll come out of the lineup. No, it's going to be Deaton leaving, and back in will be Kendall Arnold. So side out -5 here for Monrovia. From behind the attack line, the swing and the point will go to Covenant.
Another net violation.
Yeah, they've called a lot of those already.
They
They've got
have.
Kinsey this time.
They have.
Now, that is also a little bit unusual in the first set, right?
I would agree, and I think, too, it could be in part to the officials. You'll get some officials that may not see a whole lot of net touches, and then you'll get ones that see them all.
Right.
So I think,
but as a team, then you got to adjust to that.
I would agree. I think one thing as a blocker, I think they're getting – I love that they're being aggressive. I think they just got to give themselves a little bit more space. Typically when I was blocking, I'd give myself about a forearm's length away from the net. That way I could still push over, seal the net, but not get into the net.
Right. So the lead at 5. Warriors to the outside once again. That appeared to be Kenzie Mann, who's working pretty much off that left side.
Mm-hmm. And here it comes to her again.
Well, the set wasn't very good there, but the overpass ends up costing him on that one.
Yeah, just a miscommunication there. Miscommunication error for Covenant there. You could see the libero coming in the middle coming, and they just had a miscommunication error about who was going to take the ball. So
side out, -4 again for the Bulldogs. Hanging in there, though, in this first set. It looked like maybe it was going to get away from them, but they managed to come back pretty strong.
Not over till it's over.
They stopped making the mistakes they were making earlier, too, except that one right there.
Yes.
Ava Keene unable to get that one across, so the lead back to 5. It's amazing how well you can play when you stop making those mistakes, right?
Oh, it is. You can be a whole nother team. You'll get up 2 sets on somebody, and then you fix your errors, and you can turn it around and win.
My question is, did that come more out of the timeout, maybe get him a little more focused, or did the coach really have to say a whole lot about those mistakes?
I think it's probably a combination of both, of just settling into the match along with what their coach is telling them. I think it's a combination of being able to say, all right, we've played a couple points, we know what they're doing, now let's get back to what we want to do, dictate the match for us, and just settle in. So.
By the way, the misplay there by Kendall Arnold will give things back to the Warriors, +6 here in the first set. So right when Monrovia got it down to 4, that's a great shot from behind the attack line, but how about that one, bringing it back? In the middle, and keeping it alive. Point Monrovia.
Yeah, and if you're Monrovia, build off of that. You just got a great kill. Build off of it. You know, the second you get a play that you have, or not a play, I'm sorry, a point you have earned, celebrate it.
Yeah.
Like no other.
By the way, back in the lineup, Lila Martin wearing number 5, side out again for Monrovia, down by 5. To the outside and the point.
Great swing there.
Always like the little shove afterwards, too. By the way, getting the point there was Chloe Leas. You ever get whiplash when they're shoving you around like that?
Well, I can't testify to that too much because I will shove others when they get a big point. I think it's just kind of grown to be a part of the game, and honestly, I am a big fan of it. I love it.
Okay, good. Until the coach sees somebody gets a neck injury, and then they're going to stop it, right?
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Lead at 7. How about the Warriors coming back strong now? Side out once again for Covenant Christian. They're looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. This is a conference matchup here tonight, and from the middle, that'll be Sydney Clements.
Yeah, that's one of their seniors.
You mentioned both teams. You know what I find interesting about that, as popular as volleyball is, that you would get to the point where in your senior class is only 2 or the senior class is only 1. I would think you'd always have a lot of seniors to go with.
No, I would think the same thing. I'm not sure. It could just be maybe somebody's gone to a different school.
Right.
Moved. I think there can be a lot of variety of factors contributing to that, but I do think that's a very interesting point to make.
By the way, each team with 1 service error so far tonight. Those numbers, again, will always be unofficial, but it looks like, at least from a serving standpoint, both teams doing very well. Plus 7. Boy, how about that? The rebound in deep. Thank you, Raven Russell.
I love that.
I think she took a little bow right there, too, didn't she?
I think so. You could see her team come up to her and love on her for that point.
So now the lead at 8. We're back on the air on Thursday. We have a full week of sports, including a busy Friday night. Down the line and
Good
the point.
Shot. Also,
That
great
was-
set by
the way, it was Harper Ron who made the shot.
Yeah. Good swing by her.
Lead at 7. We have 5 football games coming up on Friday night, so if you want to do some football, let me know. We might have an opening for you.
Oh boy, I don't know if people would want that.
Boy, how about Raven Russell able to keep that one alive? Lead stays at 7. From the middle. And the point.
Good swing.
Lila Martin.
Good swing by her. That's exactly what you want. You want to get your middles going early. A big key to that, when you're establishing your middles, it allows all other offensive options to open up. Because if the other team is expecting you to go to that middle every time, then you shoot it to the outside. It gives that outside a one-on-one opportunity to score, which basically means they only have 1 block in front of them.
Good job. I like that. That's why you're the highest paid analyst we
Oh,
have
boy.
in volleyball. That's going to be a service error. By the way, I must admit now, since I mentioned, hey, each team's doing a really good job in serving, we've had 2 service errors since then. So
Typically happens that way. You're like, oh, I haven't made a whole lot of serving errors, and somehow it just falls to be the opposite of that.
Keen on the serve and the point.
Good serve.
Hey, but Keen, you get a good look at her right there. Well, Monrovia is still hanging around, down by 5. We're getting to the point in the season. I know it's still relatively early, but we're going to be getting pretty close here to the outside, to the violation, or is that going to be a point? They're going to give that one, I believe, to Raven Russell. We're getting to the point, though, where you're about halfway through the season, regular season. I think we're about there, right?
Just about. I would say about probably another week, 2 weeks is typically middle.
Okay.
So I think that's
So
a
we're getting
fair
close.
assumption.
So my point is now you got to clean some things up here pretty quick, because if you haven't figured it out by tournament time, you're probably not going to get it figured out.
This is true. This is true.
So the lead at 7 again. Covenant able to expand the lead. That's what I like about Covenant so far. Every time that Monrovia has made a little bit of a run, Covenant's able to come back strong.
Agreed.
So lead at 7. Set wasn't very good, but somehow Kenzie Mann able to reach back and still get the point.
Yeah, you saw her turn her thumb down there, and that's a shot you have to do when you're off the net that far. It's a very difficult shot to make, because as you're contacting, that thumb has to turn down, which causes it to come back around the net. Difficult shot, but well executed by her.
We're at set point, After that, the third service error. You can blame these all on me now. We're up to 5 total. Side out. Once again for Monrovia. The overpass and nice play at the net. And then big time hit on the outside. Good job there
dig
by Keene. How about that? With the point will go to Covenant. They might say that was Kinsey in the net once again because they held up number 3. So, Covenant battling. They win at 25-17.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
High school volleyball in IndianaSRN brought to you in part by Boilermaker Local 374. They represent highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication in the state of Indiana. When you need a safe, dependable workforce for a new build, maybe an upgrade or a facility maintenance, you can count on Boilermaker Local 374 to do the job the first time. Also, Passion to Care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. They are a prestigious healthcare company. Passion to Care is driven by decades of expertise and a drive to go above and beyond. For more information, contact Passion to Care at 317-537-1811. Your thoughts on the first set? We mentioned Monrovia kept coming back, but Covenant able to finish it out strong.
I think credit to Covenant. They executed their serves very well, which was a point of focus for the coach. He credited their team for the pressure they create with their serves and the location and precision that they have when serving. You can see him given his servers zones, and they've been executing those zones very well. I've seen a couple times the zone he was given, and the server nailed it each time. So I think credit to them for creating out-of-system plays to get free balls back so they can run their offense. So credit to them. I think if you're Monrovia, limiting those errors and the errors that are unforced, as we like to call them, where, you're in the net, you miss a serve, you have a miscommunication error, those controllable errors that you can clean up on your side. I think if they do that, along with get some more offense going, I think it'll be a much more even match.
And they played better after that first time out, too. Would you have taken maybe another time out? I don't know how many you're going to get.
You usually get 2.
Okay.
2 timeouts per set. I think I might have, just kind of resettle my team, because it gets to a point sometimes in a match where it's like it's going to be very, very difficult to come back and win. But what you can do is create momentum and say, hey, let's get a big kill. Let's get a big block. Let's get a good serve. And create that momentum to carry you into the second set.
My thought process is if I have 2 timeouts and I'm late in the set, why not use it instead of waste it, right?
Oh, exactly. And you'll see that in Division I volleyball.
Right.
They actually get challenges. So if an official calls a play that a coach disagrees with, but let's say it's just a silly call, they will take their challenge to give themselves another timeout.
All right, side out for the Warriors, and they open up strong with an ace to begin the second set.
Great serve.
By the way, Kenzie Mann, you talk about her. She played well in that opening set, and Raven Russell played well. I mean, at 6'2", and she even showed a little touch at the net.
She did. Credit to Kenzie Mann. She sees her block so well, which, when you can do that and you have that awareness and that vision to just go around the block, it is very, very difficult to defend.
Well, that was an attack error that time, but by Monrovia, they find themselves down 2-0 here in the second set. So the game of volleyball that we see so much is a game of momentum, and you don't want to be on the road and be down, and there's another ace, and all of a sudden it's 3-0. You just can't afford to give up 5, 6, 7 points at a time.
No, and especially against a team like Covenant, who typically will go on those runs with their serve. You typically want to be able to side out quickly.
So it's a 3-0 lead here in the second set. Monrovia will just have to give it back, and it looked like that might have been outside the antenna, and it was. And so an early 4-0 deficit. And that's almost kind of the way they started the first set, just uneasy, kind of unsure what they wanted to do.
For sure. If you're Monrovia right now, though, I think just taking a breath, making sure you're not trying to get a perfect pass. A lot of players will want to pass a ball perfectly.
Yeah.
And it can get hard mentally to not do that.
Take a timeout on the floor, 5-0 Covenant.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Well, after the timeout by Monrovia, they're down by 5. They got down at many times, shouldn't say many, but a few times in that first set down by 7 and such, and battled back to get it to 4, but now they find themselves in a hole. Let's see how they'll adjust, and there is a service error on Covenant. That is their 4th of the night.
Coach's point there. Typically, when a coach calls a timeout and the other team misses their serve, it's kind of a well-rounded term of, coach's point. So, coach's point there.
So they take credit for the timeout, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Let's see what the Warriors have in store here. Great play in that back row, and to the outside, good block there by the Warriors, and the point. I think that might have been Charlie Berger. Is that number 16, I believe, that time for Covenant. They do have a little bit of a size advantage. Covenant does up front.
Good play there.
Let me ask you about the rotation you see as that ball is hit into the net. You see the rotation there for Covenant. They haven't given up too many points because they've been out of position, so they're doing a good job there.
Definitely.
So now Monrovia down by 4. Side out Bulldogs. This is Josie Kinsey. Boy, and it is so tough to come back on the road when you're down 2-0. So this is really a very pivotal game now for Monrovia, and they'll get the point.
There you go. And if Monrovia build on that.
Yeah.
The worst thing to have happen is when a team celebrates the opposing team's errors. It gets in their heads so much.
That'll be the 3rd service error now on Monrovia. So were you a trash talker? Were you a trash talker as a player, or did you just let your game take care of the situation?
Not typically, no. I'm a people pleaser, so I think that's not typically something that just comes naturally to me, is to be all in your face. So.
Right. Point will go to the Bulldogs as Covenant leads at 7-4. Side out here for number 13, which is Grace Deaton. I imagine there's not too much trash talking at volleyball, is there?
No, there's not too much. You'll get every once in a while, and this is more in the college level, like a stare down. If you get like a big block on somebody, you'll see the player who got the block kind of stare through the net. So that's about as heated as you could say as I've seen it get. So.
Gotcha. By the way, the overpass that time by Covenant cost him the point, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point lead here in the second set. And the point on the outside.
Good swing.
Chloe Leas able to get the point there for Covenant. She's a .236 percentage hitter coming in. Lead back to 3. You know what I like about Covenant so far tonight, Han, is they seem to weather the storms, and there's a service error. And what I mean by that, no matter how many times it seems like Monrovia keeps coming back, they're able still to either extend that lead or stay with the pace.
Absolutely, and I think that's just credit to the coach. You have a young team. You have one senior. So I think it says a lot about the culture that they have created in that program to have these young freshmen and sophomores come in and just click.
Yeah. Sydney Clements, by the way, just got the ace. Lead is at 1 now for the Warriors. See if they'll bounce back right here. They'll give a free ball up to Covenant, I should say, to Monrovia, but unable to handle it. The point will go to Covenant.
Smart play there. Even though it was a free ball, typically when you send a free ball over the net, you want to send it to what's called zone 1, so where a server would go serve from. And usually the setter is being released from that area, and on a free ball, your setter will release up to your net and typically leaves a good hole in the court there.
All right, 2-point lead to the middle. That was Raven Russell once again. The outside, the push down the line, and
Great
the point.
Spot.
Kenzie Mann once again. Boy, she has been lethal on that left side, not only with her power game, but able to shove that one down the line, showing a lot of touch.
She's very smart. She's a very smart hitter, which is exactly what you want from your outside.
That'll be number 6 now on Covenant Christian. Don't forget, you can help us put more student athletes on TV by logging on to IndianaSRN.org and directing your donation to a specific school, or hit that donate button. That one ends up hitting the ceiling and coming straight down, which in these smaller gyms is fair game. So if you'd like to have more games on IndianaSRN, make sure you donate to us and we'll get them on the air. And plus, we got to pay people salaries that make a lot of money on this network. Hannah's one of them.
Oh.
Back to a 3-point lead. Boy, not a great pass there, but rebounded quickly. Let's see if Covenant can get back in position. They had one player go down at the net, and that's going to be long. Point will go to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it looks like Kenzie Mann went down there on the left side of the court there. Hope she's all right. Looks like it.
So it looks like Kendall Arnold has checked in now for the Bulldogs. Covenant tried to catch him off guard a little bit right there. The lead still at 2. And the Warriors will send it deep, but too deep.
Good hustle, though.
We're at 1.
Just like that.
Yeah, Monrovia doing exactly what we saw in the first set, where they kept coming back. And another misplay, and Monrovia has been able to come back and tie this one at 11.
Yeah. Credit to Harper Ron. Good serve she's got there.
Well, now if you're on the other side, you won the first set, and now you find yourself in a battle in set 2. You got to find a way here pretty quick to reverse their fortunes.
Agreed.
Because also on the other side is they get the point there, which is big. You don't want to give Monrovia any breathing room at all.
No, not at all. And I'll be interested to see if this match kind of stays equal in score, how Covenant will respond. You know, they're playing great when they're ahead, but I'll be interested to see how they play under that pressure.
So the lead at 1. Went middle, and it's going to go wide. The set wasn't really very good on that one, but now Covenant able to get another point back.
Yeah, you could see there's a little bit of a missed time there on Monrovia's side between the setter and the hitter there.
So the lead back at 2. And that's going to be long once again. And again, that was my fault because they said they were serving well, but that's now 7 service errors by Covenant. Only 3 so far by Monrovia. Side out here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I think if you're Covenant, making sure you're creating pressure with the serve, but not making too many errors.
Right.
There's a very good medium between being aggressive with your serve and missing them.
Tied at 13. We have a battle going here in the second set. Great serve, and the overpass cost him. And all of a sudden, Monrovia has the lead on Josie Kinsey's big point.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah.
When there's an overpass and as a middle, you see it coming, you just get up and you rip the ball, and it's the best feeling.
Feels like a home run, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So now let's see what the Warriors can do. They don't really look like the same team that was dominant in that first set, and looks like we may have a violation here on Sydney Clements at the net.
I like what they were trying to do there. You could see that Monrovia was trying to run a play there where they, do something different than the typical for outside high ball, middle set, right side set. So I'll be interested to see if they continue trying to mix up their offense.
Long hit that time by the Bulldogs. Now trailing it by 1. Well, you got to give Covenant a lot of credit here for bouncing back. That might have been another one that would have been out.
Looked like it.
One name we haven't mentioned a lot lately is Kenzie Mann, who's on the outside. You see her right there.
Great dig by Monrovia.
We mentioned Mann was so instrumental in that first set and went long again. She's kind of missed her mark the last couple of times.
A little bit, and I think credit to Monrovia. They know she's their go-to, so I think they're starting to get a double block up on her, knowing her tendencies, knowing where she likes to go when it's not a good set. So credit to Monrovia there for being able to kind of slow her down.
Not well played at all that time by the Warriors, and now they trail it by 1 again. Kinsey serving. Well, you can kind of feel it already that Monrovia, their body language and just the way that they have approached this second set is much different what we saw earlier.
Very different. You can see they're playing a lot more free.
Yeah.
And they're just much more relaxed, and they're shaking off their mistakes, and they're not letting their mistakes dictate the rest of the match.
Exactly. So, tied at 16, side out Warriors once again. Another overpass at the net and the whistle, and that's going to go against the Bulldogs.
It looks like the down ref might be arguing something. You can see the coach from Monrovia arguing about a block. So basically when you have a back row setter or a setter in general, the opponent cannot go over the net as a set is being made. So you could see Monrovia there arguing for that call. But if the ball was on the plane of the nets or right in the middle, it's anybody's ball.
It's a big point right there for Covenant. They lead it by 1. And this point will go to Monrovia. I think they said Chloe Leas guilty of the violation. And so side out for Grace Deaton and the Bulldogs.
Monrovia has responded very well.
Yeah, they look like a much different team here in this second set. Though they a couple of times made a run in the first set. The return deep in the corner and long as Raven Russell can't find her mark. And now Monrovia leads it by 1, 18-17.
Covenant's coach not happy. He thought there was 4 touches on Monrovia's side, so you can see him arguing a little bit with the ref there about 4 touches.
Warriors back once again. Here come the Bulldogs. To the left.
Good up.
And the point. And it's a 2-point lead.
Sydney Clemens, there she goes. She was pretty quiet the first set, so I'll be interested to see how they get her going now.
Well, the Warriors are going to talk about it. They trail it by 2.
I know, it hurts so I keep messing with mine. No, will they like squeeze a little bit? To be a crucial set.
Yeah.
I think if Monrovia wins it, they might
Win it.
get hot.
Yeah.
But I think if Covenant wins it, I think it'll just be 3. That's my prediction.
Okay. Following the timeout, a 2-point lead. Let's see if the Warriors will respond, and they will. Outside, and the point, back to a 1-point lead.
Good swing.
Well, it seems like that's kind of the pattern here, that you call a timeout, you get a point.
That's typically how you want it to be. Doesn't
too bad
always
you have
go
like
that
7
way.
or 8 timeouts, you get a lot of points, right?
No kidding.
And the point back to Monrovia. They went down the line, and Covenant unable to get it. Back to 1, or actually back to 2. Here are the Bulldogs. This is Clements. Boy, they have served well. Only 4 serving errors and another attack error this time by the Warriors, and they're down by 3.
That's what you want.
What's amazing how this game can change.
It really is. It
And
never ceases to amaze me.
boy, no kidding. What do we have here? That'll be at the net. I think they got number 17 on the call. I didn't see if she was in the net or what it was. If that's the case, we've seen a lot of those tonight.
You have, and again, I think some of that comes down to who is reffing.
Yeah.
I think you get refs who watch very, very heavily for that versus another ref may watch for a double call or a footfall or rotations. You know, you get certain refs that might be more strict on certain calls than others. So it kind of looks like these refs might be a little bit more strict on those net calls versus maybe something else that you would typically see.
Great point there for the Bulldogs, now leading it by 3. They trailed very early in this one, but now they're about ready to put this one away in the second set, now leading it 23-19. And Ava Keene is deep, but we've got another timeout. Monrovia leads it by 4.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
You want a piece of equipment you can trust, one that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements and top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Right now, a 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. And that's going to be wide outside hit there by Raven Russell. And we are at set point. What a turnaround here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, credit to them. Definitely limited their mistakes, which is exactly what they needed to do.
Ava Keene again on the serve, trying to tie it up at one apiece. The overpass, and it'll cost them on this one, so Covenant stays alive, down by 4. Now, it's very rare that you see somebody come from behind this far this late in a set, but it has been done.
Sure has.
So let's see if the Warriors are able to do it. From the attack line, and the return deep, and the point.
That was very smart. Great heads-up play there.
So now it is down to 3. That looks like Raven Russell, and it is. To the outside, and there you go. So Monrovia comes back. They win the second set, 25-21.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
We never really realize how much we depend on electricity until the power goes out. Get those lights back on when you choose the certified electricians at Bertner Electric Incorporated. Locally owned and operated, we are a member of the Better Business Bureau and provide only the highest quality of customer service. For more information, give us a call today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper Logistics have consistently been the trusted allies for all your inventory management, warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation needs. We stand as your comprehensive logistics partner. Give them a call at 317-396-1023. And tonight's game brought to you in part by Dynamark. If you're looking to elevate your brand, make sure you choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, and promo products, as well as apparel and mailing services. They've been serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service. Give them a call at 317-328-2555. Now, we talked about Monrovia, Hannah, after the first set. How did they come back in set 2? And they did. Now we got to switch it over because this momentum went to Monrovia, and Covenant didn't look like the same team. So now how do the Warriors bounce back and try to go up 2-1?
I think first and foremost, limiting your service errors. They had quite a few there. I want to say maybe 3, 4. And that was more than what they just lost by. So I think if you clean up your service errors, I think it could be a factor. And then also getting Kenzie Mann going again. You know, she seemed a little bit quiet there that second set. So I think how you do that is you start establishing that middle, kind of like I was mentioning a little bit before. Get her going, make sure she's getting some swings in there, then going back to Kenzie Mann. Because right now Monrovia knows she's going to get the ball. They know that that's their go-to, and they're sitting on her with a block, which makes it even harder for Kenzie Mann to get around that. You can see her trying to have to roll shot, push deep corners, kind of trying to finesse her way through it. So I think if they can establish that middle, then go back to Kenzie Mann, I think it'll do a lot of favors for him.
See so many players, and Kenzie Mann's playing on this left side. Do you move her around a little bit more? I know maybe she's not comfortable, but maybe if I can move her someplace else, they won't recognize it as much, and if they do, I'll move her back. Do you ever do that?
You can. So there's actually a play, people will either call it an X or a tandem play, where your outside will come around and swing on a ball in the middle of the court, and your middle will kind of swing where your outside is. So they basically like switch, they flip-flop positions, and they hit on each other's position.
By the way, it must have worked because Kenzie Mann just got a kill right there, and it's an early 1-0 lead.
She heard me.
Yes. Got to listen to the people who know, and that's going to be long. Despite, though, as you know, whenever Hannah does a broadcast, we find out something new.
Oh, boy.
And she likes to crack her knuckles.
I do.
And where did that come from?
I think just habit.
Oh, okay.
Just I don't remember where it started. It just kind of happens.
It's no weird thing about liking to hear your, knuckles crack, or there's a nice point.
I think it's just a habit that's just kind of created over the years, and now it's just there's like, oh, gotta crack my knuckles. So
another secret brought to you by, we're going to get a sponsor for that Hannah has a secret. By the way, it only came up because you cracked your back while we were waiting to get started, and I was like, what in the world was that?
I did.
It's a big hit on the left side. That might have been Leas on this left side, wasn't it?
Great swing by her. You could see her pull her whole body into that swing. That's exactly what you want to do. Great swing.
And as a head coach, you got to be a little bit delicate at times. You got a young team, as you said. You have one senior. And how you talk to your team in between those sets, or you call a timeout, you're 3 and 7, and you're trying to get this team on the right track. Sometimes, well, that ball hung up there, didn't it? Sometimes it's awful hard to talk to a team that's young and still try to be positive and get the message across.
Sure is. I definitely think there's a very fine line and a balance as a coach that you have to do, because you can get players, who sometimes will crack under that pressure if you go too far to one extreme.
Exactly.
But seems like Coach so far has been doing a pretty good job.
Well, 4-2 lead. Free ball now it started to be a free ball, but somehow Covenant gets the point.
And you typically don't see your libero rack up a kill there, but there she goes.
Wow. Raven Russell back in at 6'2" on that front row.
Been very impressed with Anna Cope. Freshman libero, she's very composed out there, doing a great job getting touches on the ball, which is exactly what you want from your libero.
So the lead back to 3. Was ready to give the free ball back to the Bulldogs there, and you get the point. And this kind of shows you sometimes you never know. There's a big-time hit in the middle.
Sydney Clemens, I think?
If it wasn't Clemens, it was either her or Martin, but I think you're right.
Good swing.
Great play there for the Bulldogs, back to a 2-point lead. Grace Deaton now serving. The one good thing, if you are Covenant, nice return. And that's going to be long. Point will go to the Bulldogs. I just happened to notice on our left wall over here, if you're the only senior on the team, you have the only poster on the wall. Isn't that great?
Awesome. Love that for her.
So back to a 1-point lead. To the outside once again.
What a dig.
That thing is hanging up in the rafters. That's going to be long. You got to give Monrovia or either one of these two teams a lot of credit, because you're going to wait for that thing to come down. And you're like, all right, when's it going to come down? I thought it got stuck a couple of times.
It's the worst. You kind of have to play this game of limbo where you're like, which way is it going to go? And
exactly.
So credit to them for being able to hang in there.
6-4, Warriors. Misplayed, and the point will go to the Bulldogs. It almost appears now, you look at Covenant, and they're making those same mistakes that we saw Monrovia make earlier, the unforced errors.
And I think, again, they're a young team, so I think some of that chemistry is going to work itself out. Yes, it is almost middle of the season, but when you have this young of a team, it can be a factor.
Yeah. Well, so you're looking for consistency, perhaps more than anything. You just want to be consistent.
Exactly. You want to typically on a free ball, you want your passers to take that ball. So I think also just getting that chemistry for Covenant is going to be a struggle probably throughout the majority of their season, because they have players that they've never played with. They graduated 8 seniors last year. So it's a new team.
Yeah.
And every time you have a new team, there's a new chemistry that has to be built.
And it does take some time to get that all put together. Bulldogs make the return. It almost looked like it was going to be an overpass. Free ball here for Monrovia. Boy, it isn't like we haven't seen some good volleys here back and forth. There's been some times where each team, and that's going to be from behind the attack line, but not enough lift. But we have seen both teams at times really go back and forth.
Yeah, they're both starting to finally settle in and know what they're going to do. You can see Sydney Clemens back there digging Kenzie Mann. She knows exactly where Kenzie Mann wants to go with that ball, and Sydney Clemens is just sitting right there, and she's digging the ball.
By the way, that was great reaction time by Raven Russell twice, and how about that one? That smoked from the left side.
Man, she said you're not going to dig that one.
We, by the way, I believe have another timeout. We do, as Monrovia trails at 9-5.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Officially Human. Their mission is to restore respect to game officials and recognize them as authorities on the field and the court. Do your part and practice good sportsmanship, because if we don't have officials, we will not play. But how about Covenant? Now all of a sudden I feel like I'm getting a little sick. We're going on this roller coaster ride, up and down and up and down. But now the Warriors lead it by 4.
And that's what you want when you're watching volleyball. You want that roller coaster ride of, oh, this team's up. Oh, now this team's up. Now we're even. Who's going to pull away? It creates a very fun match.
Yeah, but emotionally I can't handle it very well. There's man cross-court attack. And then the big block up front, one of those there, Raven Russell.
Credit to Monrovia, though. They have settled so much since that first set. So credit to their coach, credit to their team for being able to kind of get back to that cool, calm, collected state.
By the way, Emily Flatt was also on the block, and now you get the ace right here. And now Covenant has a little breathing room at 11-5. Boy, one thing you always want to do, you tell your team, let's try to go undefeated at home. If we go 500 on the road, I feel pretty good, but you don't want to lose any games at home.
Typically a place you want to
dominate.
Win and dominate, exactly.
Well, you don't want anybody coming in. That point will go to Covenant. You don't want anybody coming into your house, and I know it sounds cliche-ish, and beating you at home. You want to make sure that they don't want to come to your place anymore.
Absolutely. So. Penn State, fun fact, is one of those places. Apparently, some of their student section will look up opposing players on Instagram, social media, and say things to the players, kind of try to distract them.
12-5, a 7-point lead, and there is Raven Russell at 6'2". Tell you what, love the soft touch at the net.
Oh, I do too. It's one of those plays you're coming in like you're going to full power swing and you just tip it right over. It's a great play and a great tool to have in your toolbox if you're a hitter.
So now the lead at 8. By the way, speaking of Penn State, if I were anybody that were going to go into one of these venues and somebody can look on my social media page, I'm stopping my social media page. That way, that's the best way to beat them. They have nothing to say, right?
Exactly.
Well, you really feel that right now as the overpass at the net nearly cost the Bulldogs, and it did. But now all of a sudden we feel the momentum, and even the kind of the energy of the crowd and everything has kind of gone back to Covenant.
Monrovia is hanging in there, though. I think they're getting that first contact up, which is exactly what you want. They're getting a dig. Now it's about, hey, we got the dig up. Now let's terminate it back on Covenant's side.
Boy, the overpass was available right there, but then it was misplayed at the net by Monrovia, and they're down to the biggest deficit th've had all night, 15-5.
And that's a hard place to be. You just won the second set, and you're coming back, and everything just seems to kind of be falling back apart.
Boy, and I need a timeout. Monrovia says we've got to talk about it. Covenant up by 11.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Right now, it is all Covenant, leading it by 11 here in the third set. Every time they extend that lead, it's the biggest lead of the entire night by either one of these two teams. And they're trying to make short work of Monrovia here in the third set. From behind the attack line. Outside left, really nothing there. So now Covenant an opportunity. This is Mann, and a big swing, and the point.
She's favoring that line, and it's working for her.
Well, when she has a really good set, I mean, she's adjusted well at times. It hasn't been. When she gets a good set, she's awful tough to stop. I don't even care if you have two blockers.
Oh, very. But credit Caddis and Opie. She had 535 assists last year.
Wow.
Which is very impressive.
How about the ace right there? By the way, Cameron Wolf has come in for Monrovia. They're trying to find an answer in this set, and they trail at 18-5.
Wolf is a freshman, so I'll be interested to see how she responds to this pressure.
You know, sometimes, though, you make that change, the overpass and the point Monrovia, you make the change just to try to do something different to stop the bleeding.
Absolutely, and as a coach, when you get in those moments where it's I've tried everything, sometimes throwing a new person in there can throw off the other team just enough.
Well, let's find out if they've got enough to come back. They're down by 14.
Not impossible.
Excuse me, 12. See, my math wasn't very good at Wyoming. But they're down 2-1.
They forgot to teach you math over there,
Yes,
huh?
they did, yeah. If you lose this set, you're down 2-1. If you're Monrovia, then you got to find a way to come back to the outside
Good
again.
block.
Yep. That was Kinsey up front. Back once again, and it's blocked. Did it stay in play? They're going to say
looks like it did.
Point will go to the Bulldogs.
Great block by them. Can see both players going up at the same time, pressing at the same time. Picture perfect block there.
And that'll be a service error. That is only the 5th service error of the night for Monrovia.
Bad timing, though, if you're Monrovia.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't afford to give up anything the rest of the way because you got an uphill battle just to get back in this. Now you're down by 12. And a miss hit. Okay, I got to tell you, Hannah, that drives me nuts right there. When you just see they don't get any elevation, just kind of stand there flat-footed. Why?
I think one thing that at this level, when you give a team a free ball, the team receiving the free ball is taught, crush it.
Right.
You know, and so when you see those players going back trying to down ball it over, as a coach, you'd rather have a down ball than an easy lollipop free ball that the other team can just get a great pass off of, run every option of hitter.
Yeah.
So my assumption is it's typically trained to try to get an overhand contact on a third contact when, even if it's out of system.
Well, at least get it over the net, okay? Man again from the left side. How about that? Now she is unstoppable lately. 22-7.
This is exactly what you wanted, though, if you were Covenant. Come out, serve, and get Kinsey Mann going again.
Boy, no kidding. Whatever they talked about in that timeout has worked, and that is going to be in. So the point for Monrovia, it stops the bleeding for the moment, but they've got a long way to go, down by 15. Here in this third set, in danger of going down 2-1.
And if you're Monrovia here, realistically looking at the score, it is going to be very, very, very difficult, not impossible, to come back. But if you're Monrovia, getting some momentum, gaining some confidence going into the fourth set, because we're going to be playing a fourth no matter what, to carry that momentum into the fourth set.
From the attack line, and that is going to be long. Point will go to Covenant. 23-8. I know you don't take the mindset of, listen, let's just get this set over with and focus now on a fourth set, try to tie it at 2 apiece, as that's going to be a big-time block up front. But now you almost think, let's just get to the fourth set.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of a mindset that typically tends to happen in players is, all right, we're 8-24, like, just get it over with, But there comes a point where you want to say, okay, yeah, we got beat pretty bad, but let's do something here. Let's get a good point. Let's get a good block. Let's get a good dig. Anything to kind of revamp us going into that fourth set.
Well, you can't do it when Kenzie Mann is throwing around the ball like she did right there. That was a big-time kill once again. 25-8, the final Covenant in the third set. The fourth set coming up in moments.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Burtner Electric Incorporated is fully licensed and bonded electrical contractor for your protection. Our electricians are available 24/7 for service calls and specialize in electrical service and storm damage repair. For more information, give us a call today.
Get a gator that will get you where you need to go. Something you can get in and go with plenty of space. Be ready to tackle any terrain, large or small. When you choose Reynolds, you choose reliability. A guaranteed great customer experience and relationship from the moment you walk in. Come in and see for yourself or visit reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by the IndianaSRN sports page. We're talking about wall-to-wall sports news every day, whether it be high school, college, or pro sports. We have it all. Check it out, IndianaSRN.org. Click on the sports page tab. Stay informed each and every day. Also brought to you by Indiana Laborers District Council, the 12,000 Hoosier men and women with Laborers District Council and affiliated local unions that build Indiana. We are LIUNA. And Family Source Insurance. Pat Cherry is your independent agent representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Call him for your coverage at 317-894-7000. And as you see, Raven Russell and the Warriors getting ready for this fourth set, the word domination comes up again. Even what we saw, we thought maybe it was a little more dominating in that first set, but they really played about as well as you can expect in that third set.
Absolutely. I think big credit to their serve. I think they maybe missed 1-2 serves that set, and I think that's a huge credit to them for responding, for going, hey, let's create some more service pressure, which is exactly what they did. And when you have a team that's giving you such hard-driven serves and you just can't seem to get up a pass, it's very mentally draining as the opposing team. So credit to Covenant for being able to flip that around and being like, nope, here we go again.
You know what I liked about that huddle right there from Monrovia, that Sydney Clements, when the coaches were not in the huddle, she was talking to the team. And you're looking for a team leader. That's somebody that's not afraid to stand up and certainly not be mean or anything, but you got to get your team fired up, and that's what she was doing.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what you want from one of your seniors, saying, guys, bring it in, let's go. She played exceptional that that set. I know they lost, but she was digging Kenzie Mann. She was getting touches on her. She's swinging at the ball. Yes, she might have had a few errors, but she's confident, and she's going up, and she's swinging, and she's staying aggressive, which is exactly what you want from one of your seniors.
Well, let's see how they respond now, because you're behind the 8 ball. You're down 2-1 on the road. You didn't play well in that third set, and now you got to find a way to gear it up once again and try to take it to a 5th set. And, boy, I tell you what, though, if I am Monrovia, I do not want this thing – you don't want to fall down 5, 6, 7, nothing, and all of a sudden you feel like the world is just coming back down on you again, because you're going to have to get a quick timeout.
Absolutely. I think it's very important, if you're Monrovia, jump out quick. Limit Covenant's runs. Only let them serve 1, 2 times. Don't let them go on these 5, 6, 7, 8-point runs, because that's when it gets really hard to come back from.
It does. By the way, service error number 8 now by Covenant. Side out for Monrovia. We're in the 4th set. We'll be back again on Thursday with volleyball coverage. And that's going to be wide, or did it get in? It looks like it may have hit right on the line. Point Monrovia. What do we hear on Thursday for volleyball? Then we will have 5 football games on Friday, and then we have our first college football game on Saturday, as we will head to Terre Haute. And the point from the right side, 2-1 Monrovia.
Good awareness there, knowing that block was in front of you and going around it.
Chloe Jellin will come in. Jellin is a plus 90% server, but she will play up front. And we saw Covenant make quick work in that third set, and it was very fast. They got going, and they were just unstoppable. And we've got a whistle and a double hit, looks like, right there against Monrovia.
Interesting. Fun fact, in the college game, they have taken out that as a violation. You can no longer double on second contact as long as it stays on your side of the court.
Really? So how is that affecting the game?
You know, I don't think it – I go back and forth with it. I think it takes away some of the skill for a setter.
Okay.
But in general speaking terms, it doesn't typically affect anybody but your side of the court if that ball does stay on your side.
Okay.
What's affecting your team doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the opposing team. So.
Well, Covenant, after the ace, now leads it 4-2. You always have rule changes every year. You know, I think of basketball and being a basketball official, as that's hit short by Kinsey, is that every time I turn around, I come back another year, they've added something or taken something away, and I feel sometimes that we have so many rules. It's in that, and I say that in all seriousness, that I think sometimes the officials have a difficult time of kind of keeping up with all of that and trying to make sure that you don't go back to and revert to what it was a year ago or so.
Oh, for sure. It's got to be a struggle.
5-2 Covenant is the Bulldogs able to keep it alive, but there's that nice little touch.
Very smart there. Also, great set there by Cope. She just bumped it up. You know, typically when you're at a system and a defender is having to set the ball, you always say a 5-and-5 set. So 5 feet off the net, 5 feet inside. And Cope did a great job there given that 5-and-5 set.
We have called the name of, wait for this play to take place here on the outside of Chloe Jellin, who just hit that one. And the point will go to Covenant. Jellin had not played really much early. I mean, she might have played, but she really wasn't a factor. And all of a sudden now she's coming in, and you see Chloe Jellin now starting to make a difference. 7-2 your score.
Great serve.
Boy, how about this? 8-2. Do you call a timeout right here?
I would.
Well, there you go. There's your timeout. Covenant leads it by 6. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else for delicious food? If you want not only great food, but their service is about as good as it's going to get, go to Aspen Creek Grill. By the way, you will not be disappointed. I was so disappointed last time I was there, not because I didn't get a chance to have some great food. I didn't, because Keith ate it all himself during our football show, so I have no idea if the food was good that night. It's good any other time, though.
They do have pretty good food.
I've
had it there. I've gone there.
That point will go to Covenant. I have too, and I was really looking forward to eating that night, but not one thing came my way. By the time they were done with it, it was over. Well, of course, if you had eaten there, you probably got the hiccups too, because I know your hiccups have gone away, which is good news for us tonight.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting night.
9-2, and the point goes to Covenant. By the way, and this will be the last thing I'll say about your hiccups. I thought you were sneezing when you hiccup, but you only hiccup once every 5 minutes, and then it goes away, right?
Not every 5 minutes. Sometimes it'll be a few hours.
Really?
It just depends.
Just a hiccup, and it's gone. Well, there it is.
Hiccup, and it's gone.
10-2, an 8-point lead. Boy, Monrovia kind of playing back on their heels now as you see Covenant really kind of changing the focus of this contest. And that one hit into the net as well. This is what is amazing to me, Hannah, and you see it in sports all the time, especially with teams that maybe don't have the same kind of success as a team that has a lot of consistency, and that is their game can change at just the drop of a hat. And we're seeing that right now with the Bulldogs. They just can't seem to find anything to go right.
No. And it's a hard place to be when you're in that situation.
Think about it. They've been outscored 37-10 in these last two sets.
It's not something you typically want to see.
And now they got to find a way to come back from another double-digit deficit. And there's the beginning of it right there. That
Sydney
looked like Clements,
And only reason they were able to do that, they got a good pass and serve receive. You can't do anything without a pass.
So side out Monrovia, down by 9. And that's one thing that you can't afford there. That is service error number 6. Want to remind you that tonight's game brought to you in part by Clean Slate. Find your future in the cloud. They're a technology consulting firm specializing in custom-built modern applications and products that deliver great agility, faster speed, and innovation, as well as resiliency to handle whatever the future will throw your way. Give them a call, 866-885-3249. And from the outside, there's Chloe Leas.
What a set, though. Opie was running all the way to the left side, and she dished it back to the right side. Gorgeous set.
Lead back at 11. Maybe the 25-21 loss in the second set was a little bit of a wake-up call there for the Warriors.
Most likely.
They're a completely different squad here in the last two sets.
Agreed.
To the middle, and the point there is Clements again.
And there's that X play I was talking about previously. She came around, ran what's called a 2-set. Setter just dishes it up real high in the middle, and her middle came in, ran a 1-set, which is that quick set to the middle where hitters in the air and the setter's feeding it right to her. But great choice there.
Side out here for Deaton. To the outside. Lead at 10 now for the Warriors. The block, and it is blocked, but I think it ended up getting touched by Monrovia out of play, and so the point will go to Covenant. Hard to get over the outstretched arms of Raven Russell at 6'2".
And, even just the height is a factor. Her height alone is I'm sure, getting to Monrovia a little bit. Well,
especially there's a point from the middle that time by Martin. But especially when you think it's 6'2", and you look across the net, I mean, she's a big girl, and you're thinking, how am I going to get this by her?
Exactly, and especially in those tight plays, you're like, oh gosh, she's right there. It's a hard thing to do when you're going up against somebody who's much taller than you.
Yeah.
To want to be aggressive because you get nervous about that ball coming back or not being able to get it around.
So after the change, it's a 10-point lead here for the Warriors in the fourth set. Side out once again for the Bulldogs. And now we have the official on the floor down checking the scorebook. Now, would this be a rotation? It must be funny, whatever it is, so it must be okay.
Potentially a rotation, or maybe the person keeping scorebook had something written wrong, or
whatever it is, they got it rectified as Russell hits that one in the net. Now, if you're Covenant at this stage, it's a 9-point lead. You don't want to relax and get too comfortable right here because it could quickly change. We've seen that already tonight.
Absolutely.
And there is Sydney Clements. And Clements does it again.
Good serve.
Now, I know I have a timeout in my – 2 timeouts in my hat if I'm Covenant, but I would stop the bleeding if it happened another 1 or 2 points.
Agreed.
I am going to stop that really quick. The overpass, and it got you. 3 in a row now for Monrovia, and all of a sudden it's 15-7.
See a little life coming back in them too. You know, their libero there. Keene was getting a little hyped up for her teammate.
You know, there's also another theory for a lot of coaches, and that's a good way to come back. There's a lot of theories for coaches that say, you know what, let's say I don't have 2 timeouts left. You got to play through it, and sometimes you got to let them do it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as a coach, I've had moments where I've gone, honestly, I don't want to call a timeout. Like, you guys are choosing to kind of roll over and give them this set. I'm going to let you play through that and kind of have that moment of, oh, all right, well, we're going to be the ones to get us through this. And I think that's a good growing moment for teams.
Yeah. You don't want to listen to me? I'm not calling a timeout.
Exactly.
And how about the right side by Raven Russell?
Slide attack there. I love that.
Well, nice way. They just heard that 4th kill. We got statisticians here now feeding us info. So back to a 10-point lead. And a service error, that's number 9. And see Shelby Olmstead come back again for Covenant Christian. Side out, Bulldogs. We talk about sometimes when the crowd gets really quiet. How about the swing on that one from the outside? Point will go. Double hit looked like that call, but that was again on the outside. Kenzie Mann.
Yeah, she's got an arm to her.
She does. Lead back to 10. But I was starting to talk about when things get quiet, I would rather, if I were serving, just have everybody yelling their brains out than being really quiet. You know, that bugged me. It's like being at the free throw line in basketball. I don't want everybody to be quiet.
Absolutely.
Point will go to the Warriors. Good play at the net. You know, not that it mattered. I probably missed all my free throws anyway, but at least make some noise so I can't notice.
Sometimes silence is
too much.
It's too much.
Yes.
Silence can be the loudest thing on the planet.
Yeah, it is. Monrovia, 19-9 your score. Covenant leads it by 10. Side out Bulldogs. And make it now 19-10.
And if you're Monrovia, chip away.
Yeah.
This set isn't over. I mean, yes, it's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible. You get a couple good runs on your serves. You limit your side outs, maybe 1 to every 4. Like you're scoring 4 points to their 1 point. And it could turn out to be a different match.
Yeah. Well, the point there for the Bulldogs once again, and now it's down to 8.
Good defense by them. Way to just hang in the play.
Well, so far, Covenant still has both their timeouts remaining. Coach is going to let them play through it, apparently, to the middle, and it was long again, and it's down to 7.
I thought there might be a touch there.
He's more patient than I would be.
Oh, what a save.
Boy, they barely got that one, but here they come again. Bulldogs to the outside. Kenzie Mann once again unstoppable.
What a swing.
Or you can just say, let's go to Kenzie Mann, and we can save the timeout.
Yeah, that was a great swing by her. You could see her whole body was facing cross court, came right over top of her shoulder, turned it down the line. That's a very difficult shot to have. She executed it gorgeously.
Well, especially if you don't have a really good set, it probably makes it even tougher. That's long. But, boy, I imagine, again, when you talk about being at the net and being a hitter, when you see that, your eyes get kind of big, don't they, when you get a good set?
Oh, yeah. And as a hitter who's been doing the game and who knows where they like to be set, when a ball is right in that zone that you need it.
Yeah.
And when you can absolutely just crank on it and when you need to be smart.
Yeah. 21-13 lead at 8. Point that time for the Bulldogs. And once we retrieve the ball, we're ready to go. But this is still an uphill battle here for Monrovia. They played a whole lot better here in this 4th set than they did in set number 3, and that could be what you consider the turning point in this one. That's more from the right side in the point, and I think Kenzie Mann went to that side.
She's very impressive. I'm very impressed with her ability to see the block, mix up her shots. She's got a great all-around game, so very, very good credit to her.
Lead back to 9. So the magic number is 3 now for Covenant Christian. Free ball attempt right here. Let's see what they do with it. To the outside. Leas once again working that left side, and the return by Clements into the net, and the point will go to Covenant. Want to remind you tonight's game brought to you in part by Wheeler Mission. For over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. If you'd like more information or to volunteer, give them a call at 317-686-6239. Well, we are now to match point. Warriors strong in the 3rd and 4th set, and that'll be a service error number 10. And want to remind you that tonight's broadcast is a copyright production of IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Any use of audio or video without the express written permission of IndianaSRN and the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. And Hannah is an NIL deal, so don't try to cheat her out of her money there either.
Oh, gosh.
You got to get it while you can, right? I mean,
good pass. Oh, a little tight.
Yeah, they almost cost him right there. We're still at match point. Warriors trying to put it away right here, and they will not from the outside right. Lydia Tonner able to get that one across. As you see, Allie Kinsey now serving down by 9. And that's going to be an ace. Great serve there by Kinsey.
Great serve.
That's one of those balls you literally couldn't walk down there and place it any better, could you?
Those are the best. And I always taught my girls to serve those last, 3 feet of the court. that's where it's really, really hard to pass. Typically, you have your serve-receive line maybe just a little bit farther up from maybe midway from the end line to the 10-foot line. And when you drive those serves real deep, it creates a very difficult pass for passers.
Well, the service error after 2 good serves by Kenzie will end this one. For Covenant, though, they are strong in the 3rd and 4th sets, and they win it by a final of 25-17 in the 4th set. Your thoughts about the win here tonight? Got to give Monrovia credit. I mean, they came back, tied it at 1. I know that 3rd set they're going to look at and wish they certainly would have played better, but then they fell down in the 4th set, but started to come back. So played a little bit better, and certainly I know losing this one, their first conference loss, is a tough one.
For sure. I think credit to Covenant, though. I was very, very impressed with Anna Cope. She was very calm, collected back there for a freshman. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Credit to her for putting her setter in a good position, allowing her hitters to go off. Credit to Kenzie Mann. She is a great hitter. You can throw up a ball and she'll just absolutely demolish it. But I thought Covenant responded very well coming off that loss on was it the 2nd set, 3rd set?
Second set.
Second set. Way to respond, way to redictate the match. But also Monrovia, way to take a set. I mean, Covenant's a good team.
Yeah.
So I think you look at that set and you go, we saw some really good things. We saw that we can compete at a high level. I think for Monrovia, just cleaning up those errors, the errors that we like to call unforced errors, where, you're getting a net touch, you're serving out of bounds, you're having those miscommunication errors. But overall, great match. I thought both teams did very well.
All right, Hannah, we'll see you Thursday night. Want to remind you that tonight's game has been brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, Passion to Care, Boilermaker Local 374, Wheeler Mission, Burtner Electric, the Morales Group, Northwestern Mutual, Indiana Labor's District Council, and the Indiana SRN Sports Page. Thanks to the entire crew. Thank you for being with us as well here on Indiana SRN.